What's up, guys? It's Rick Ginn here with Flip with Rick, and it is Friday. It's actually Friday evening. We are live. It is February 25th, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And you guys know I come to you live on Friday, and I like to use my 20 years experience to try to help shed light on wholesaling. So you don't have to make the same mistakes I do. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Rick Ginn. My son is Zach Ginn, and we run Flip with Rick. And we are on a mission to teach as many people as humanly possible how to wholesale and get you to your first $100,000 100% free. If you guys want to learn how to do that, just go over to freewholesaling.com. I will put you a list up here. And there's no catch. There's no credit card. You go in there. I give you my 20 years experience. My son has 5. He started when he basically got in the business full time at 17 in wholesaling. So we are no different than you. So I'm trying to make this industry much more transparent. And I feel that teaching wholesaling the way they did 20 years ago, it just doesn't work with technology anymore. So there's no more secrets in wholesaling. I share the whole thing for you. You have 2 choices in life as far as how you can control anything. It's with your time and your money. And I do not underestimate your time coming here. So I really appreciate it. Our goal is to help out as many people as possible. So here's how we do it. I do about a 20-minute teaching lesson on a topic. Today we're talking about market crashes. I think it's a great topic because people always ask me, hey, Rick, when do you think the market's going to crash? The truth to it is I do not have a crystal ball, but we're going to talk specifically about it. And then we basically take like the last hour and a half, and whatever questions you have, I take them live. We have a really good time doing it. And the only question that you don't ask is the dumb question. So the idea is everybody's got a lot of the same questions. Ask the questions. If you have something in regards about a market crash, Rick, what do I do? What are we going to do with changes? Today is the day to talk about it because, guys, what goes up eventually must come down. I've lived through some I lived through the roughest market crash of it all, and I learned some valuable lessons, and I'm here to share them with you today. But before we get going, guys, if you can hit that like button so more people can find our stream and we can help them out, so they don't have to pay these ridiculous rates that gurus are charging with a quarter of my experience. That's right, guys. A quarter of my experience. Most gurus have started since 2013. I've been doing this since 2003, and I absolutely love this business. So if you think I'm a good connection for you, you like working with my son, we try to keep it authentic. We do a full-time wholesaling business. We have a very robust business here in South Florida. And so we're in it every day. So we've actually working on deals all day today. It's gotten really interesting. The market's absolutely nuts right now. And so we're going to talk about relations on market shifts and stuff that happens. And guys, if you could comment where you're from in the comment section, this is a place where you can connect with like-minded people. Make sure you vet the people. I don't know everybody personally. I do know the regulars on here, and I try to always mention them because they provide value. Any value you can provide. If you guys want to work together, if you're in a particular market, so the easiest way is to announce your markets. And once we get to once I'm done going over the market crash section, guys, go ahead and put in your questions. If you put it in early, you're going to have a better chance of getting it responded to. I try to go through all the questions, and at the end, we kind of do a speed round. So I appreciate it. I see Olivia. I see France. Oh, you know what we're forgetting? You know what we're forgetting, guys. You guys got to bring the attitude. You've got to be a wholesaler with enthusiasm. This business, to be honest, if you're not having fun doing it, you are not doing it correctly. I do not like boring live streams where we sit there and lecture to you. I want to interact with you. I love it because somebody last week was on the live waiting to come on a mastermind, and they were dancing around having a good time with it. Guys, if you don't have a good time wholesaling, you got to get this checked up here. So guys, Let's do it. You know where I'm going with this. Let's go.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Okay, guys, that's the enthusiasm you have to have when wholesaling. Life's too short not to have fun. Yes, we get business done. We make a lot of money in what we do, but honestly, if you can't have fun with what you're doing, don't do it. Like, that's just my advice to you. What I really love about wholesaling is so many people think it's just about the real estate. It's not. It's actually about helping people solve their problems. And the more problems you can solve, the more money you're going to make. If that fits your mantra, you're in the right place. If you don't know what your why is for wholesaling, you guys hear me talking about it all the time, get your why. And I love wholesaling because obviously it's given me the financial freedom to do whatever I want with my family and friends. And I love it. I'm at an age where I can like really enjoy. I will tell you the first 7 years I went very hard in the paint on wholesaling. So I still do it. I just do it with a group of employees and we really enjoy what we do. But the main thing why I did wholesaling, you guys all need to understand this, is time. Time is more valuable than money because you can't get time back. You can always get money back. So I love to go out and do the things that wholesaling provides for me. So I love the outdoors. I love boating. You guys know I love fishing. Actually, I'm gonna show you. I just got back from fishing, so you guys know I'm a big fisherman, and we always talk about like your why. Here's my why. Okay, financially free. Check that box. So now I get time, so I can go out and do stuff like this. So I'm gonna try to share my screen. I apologize if I'm not the master at this. So if you guys like fishing, we're in South Florida here. We love the ocean. So I'm going to show you my why today. So this is what wholesaling allows me to do. Let's see. Hold on. I got to fix this. I'm not a screen technology type of guy. Okay. Let's see if I can pull that up. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. I'll show you. Okay. Let's see. Share screen. Of course, it's not going to show right now. Let me see here. Okay, hold on with the guys. I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. I just don't know why it won't show. Okay, let's try this. Let's close these out. Maybe that's affecting it. Okay. Here we go. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. You guys know I'm not the technology wizard, and that becomes... Why is that? Huh. That is not it. Well, never mind. I will try that. I will try that later. I don't know how to share a video file, extra camera, slides, no, share screen. Okay, let me try one more here. Because if I keep doing this, I do not want to bump you guys off. It's not worth that bad. So let's try this. Okay. Huh. It does not work. Okay, well, never mind on that. So I do not know if you guys, anybody got Windows. Okay. So anyways, we're talking about market crashes today. And let me see here. Okay, let's try that. Last one, I promise. Here we go. Share window, and it doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Anyways, guys, I went fishing. I had an amazing day. It was really good, and I'm just gonna have to leave it at that. So I apologize, but guys, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because without wholesaling, I couldn't go out and go fishing on like a Friday. Now I got up. I talked with Zach. We went over deals. He went out. I had a headset while I was fishing, and I just talked to people. And what better to do than the thing you absolutely love to do, and the thing you love to do, and then talk to your son about real estate? It doesn't get better than that. So I will try to pull that up before the end of this live screen. And as I said, I am not the technology wizard, so it is what it is. So let's talk about. I caught a citation, a citation bass for it. So we went sail fishing today, but we got a lot of really big dolphins, some nice tuna, and it's a lot of fun. So anytime you can get out on the water and just spend time with good friends, it works really well. So guys, we are talking about market crashes. So as I said, we're gonna go about 20 minutes. You guys type in your questions, and then we're gonna do a live Q&A. And there's no fee to do this, guys. You got to give us a little bit of time. You got to give me some likes here. Give me some likes on it. So let's jump into it. What is a market real estate crash? If you guys can give me an answer to that, because the truth of it, and I'm looking at answers right now. What is a real estate market crash? Now, you guys know in 08, 09, we 100% went through this in the United States. It was I got to be honest with you, it was shocking. And I don't ever think you and me are going to see that in our lifestyle. The problem in 2008, it was a bubble. And the bubble was created by the banks putting out reckless mortgages. Okay? That's not what we're in right now. We have different things going on. So if anybody can, let's see here. I'm getting answers on here. So Nature Verb says when prices go down, that's part of it. Rigoberto says he lost a home. So let me catch up on this, okay? A market crash is kind of like a car crash. It's when things change pretty quickly within 6 to 12 months. Market crashes in real estate, as you guys know, they don't crash like the stock market. Okay. The stock market's fast, it's furious, and it drops first. Real estate is the last to go down in price and the last to go up in price. Okay. So the effects you're seeing going on really in the world and the United States is slowly going to trickle down the real estate. You will not see it overnight. In fact, I'm here to tell you that real estate is probably going to boom till at least early to midsummer. Okay. Why am I saying that? Let's look at this. So I'm going to go through my notes here because I don't want to get too far ahead. So people ask me, Rick, hey, what do you see? I actually think housing is going to be strong through summer, but after that, we got issues coming up. Okay. So a real estate market crash would be defined as usually anything within 10% is considered a correction. Once you get to 15% or more, that's usually going to be considered some sort of crash because prices got heated, people got excited, emotions got mixed into it, and people got hurt. Okay. You got to understand a 10 to 12% correct change. That's called a correction. It's not a crash, and it's healthy for a market. The problem is since 2011, we've been going up like a rocket ship. Okay. And really in the last 2 years, the rocket ship hit it hooked up 2 Red Bulls and exploded on there. So it's gone crazy. So let's talk about this. We're going to talk about the current market. What would cause a market crash in real estate? And guys, this is actually really, really, really simple. The easy answer for this is simply supply and demand. You could say that about any macroeconomics of any industry. But real estate is the supply is the houses, right? What people put on the market. And this is the most important part. We gauge supply based on realtors' information because you guys know there's a heck of a lot of realtors and they congregate all this information. And how the supply is considered or how we measure supply is they take the average number of houses that take to be sold in a month and they figure out the supply. So right now in my area, and you guys want to look it up in your area, great exercise is we have about a 2.5 month supply. Brutal. That's a really, really small number. Anything under 7 months is considered basically a seller's market, meaning people are paying top dollar and bidding it up. Okay. So we're at like 2 months, 2.5. We got to get to 7 to 8 just to get to a normal market. And once you get above like 9 months to 12 months, you're considered in a buyer's market. And then once you go past that, you're probably in some sort of major pullback on a market and a possible crash. So supply is the big indicator. Now, you can take your local realtor board's information. Usually it's free. It's usually 3 months behind. And that's the problem with us wholesalers is because we're so up to date. That information is historical and that can hurt you a little bit. So you need to understand when you're looking at the data, you're just looking at trends. So if I'm in South Florida and I see I'm at 2 months, then I see it goes to 3 months, then it jumps to like 4 or 5 months, and I keep seeing it going, I'm going to heed the warning. Okay. But honestly, we've struggled to even get close to 3 months for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. So, guys, use that as your indicator. That's number one. Okay. Obviously, the more houses go on the market, the more opportunity is for buyers to get better deals. And then what happens is typically there's some sort of shift, which we're going to talk about the shifts. And then a bunch of people put their houses on the market, flippers, homeowners, everything. And then once the prices start unloading, then it's who can hold out the longest. And if I need to sell my house real bad, I'm just going to keep reducing the price till it sells because that's how a free market works. So supply and demand. So you guys know demand is through the roof right now. Why is demand through the roof? Because you have historically low interest rates. Yes, they are creeping up. Okay. But the lower the interest rates are, the more house a person can afford puts more pressure on demand. Make sense? So you need to ask yourself, how do interest rates work and who drives it? Well, interest rates are 100% controlled independently by the Federal Reserve. Supposedly, the administration, the president, the vice president has no say in what the Federal Reserve does other than appointing the chairman to the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve use interest rates to cool off economies that are overheating. So like we have massive inflation going on. If they do not stop the inflation, prices will get so out of control, it's going to be ridiculous. So they have announced they're going to do at least 4 rate hikes. So they usually do them by 0.25%. So in the last 45 days, mortgage rates have gone up 1%. So they've gone from a whopping 2.99% to like almost 4%, and they're creeping up almost on a daily basis. If you ever want to know if interest rates are going to go up on mortgages, just follow the T-bill. So the Treasury bills are highly correlated with the mortgage rates. I'm not getting into like the details of it, but the Fed sets a prime rate and then the banks charge a percentage over it, and that's how you get like a mortgage rate. So they're going up. The fact that they're going up right now is putting a lot of pressure on housing, and people are racing to buy houses because they feel like the window's closing. And it is a great opportunity right now as a wholesaler because it's easy to sell our property. So right now we have artificial demand being pushed to real estate because they're fearful that interest rates are going to get out of control. The breaking point, in my opinion, is when the Treasury bill gets around 3%. It's at 2% now, but once it gets around 3%, interest rates going to go up. Well, Rick, who cares if it's at 5, 5.25? The problem is people are not going to be able to afford these houses because the higher that interest rates goes, the less house they can afford. They have to go make more money. So that's why with these low interest rates, the demand's through the roof because people can afford more house. So they're okay paying an extra $50,000 or $100,000 for it. As those interest rates go up, that sentiment will wane. I promise you. So keep an eye on interest rates, guys. And you're like, well, Rick, they're raising interest rates now and it's not killing the market. I told you this is a lag effect. Right now, everyone's rushing into the market. I've seen it on the properties we're selling. My friends that are mortgage brokers, they're blowing up. And this is probably going to go to early summer, and then we'll have to see where it goes from there. So interest rates. So we just talked about interest rates in the Federal Reserve. I have no idea how they set any of these policies or anything. I just know they're independent. And if you can also watch inflation, I should have put that on there. If inflation does not start trending down, so they like to see inflation around the 2% number, much, much higher than that. If that number keeps hanging there, the Federal Reserve is going to get very aggressive in raising interest rates. And the faster those interest rates go up, the quicker people are not going to be able to afford homes. And it's going to have an opposite effect on demand. And supply is going to blow up. And guys, that's when you start getting a market shift. I hate the word market crash because 2008 was truly a market crash. We were seeing 50 to 60% price corrections. Okay. So you guys need to be prepared. There will be a 10 to 12% price correction. That's what free markets do. That's normal. Like the idea is if the demand's through the roof and there's very little supply, the idea is builders are supposed to build houses and apartments to meet that demand. And then eventually they never get it perfect. They overbuild. And when they overbuild, what happens? People get really, really good deals. And then homeowners have to compete and do all this. So let's talk about this. How does any type of market correction or market crash affect wholesaling? And I get this all the time, and you guys got to understand this. A market crash or even a correction, honestly, it just affects how you do wholesaling. And if anything, it actually makes wholesaling even more profitable for you. So wholesaling basically means you're in and out of a property. You're not holding it long-term. So you are not subject to these wild changes. That's the benefit of wholesaling. Remember, when properties are going up in value, you cash out. But remember, in 2 years, you sold that property. Now it's worth $200,000 more. That's the price of wholesaling. But wholesaling also has the positive effect when prices are going down. You're just cashing the properties out as they're going down. Now, it's going to change a little bit of your operation. And I've personally lived through this. And you will have to adapt somewhat. And I'm going to show you what to look for. So let's talk about how to wholesale during a market crash. Okay. Guys, keep this in mind. Wholesaling doesn't change. The fundamentals of wholesaling always holds true no matter what's going on in the market. So in my preference, I wish a market would do this. When the market holds flat, that's what makes wholesaling a little bit difficult. Now, when a market's shooting straight up, guess what? Everybody looks like a hero. I'm going to be honest. For the last 10 years, everyone's looked like a superstar. And I think any type of market correction is going to expose a lot of people because I had problems in 07, 08. I over leveraged a lot of houses with the banks and I paid the price for it. It took me 3 years to fix that problem. I will never do that again. That's why I don't do it. So wholesaling is not going to change, meaning you're still going to go out and find motivated sellers, but I'm going to teach you what the emphasis that you're going to have on it. And I will tell you, assignments rule during down markets. Guys, repeat it with me. Assignments rule during down markets. They are wonderful. They work well, allows you to get in and out and minimizes your risk, which is what you need in a rapidly declining market. When markets are dropping and they're dropping quickly, I don't want to own much unless I have a really, really long-term play. So anything within 12 to 24 months is not something you want to be holding on in a downward market. Okay. So the problem when a market's dropping is buyers don't want to buy until they think they found a bottom. Well, here's how the bottom works. It's going to go down. Okay. And you'll never time it perfectly as a buyer. So they want to see when it goes down, levels off, and it starts to come up. That's where buyers want to buy. They never want to buy when it's going straight down. Ask me how I know this. From '08 to 2010, I worked my butt off selling wholesaling properties. And so like let's give an example for right now. So we're in 2022, right? It's 525 on the 25th. So deals are much harder to find, but they're very easy to sell. Guys, repeat that. Deals in 2022, they're hard to find, meaning you're spending more efforts working with motivated sellers. But when you sell them, it's like, it's easy. Okay. It's like, it's really, really easy. So I want you to understand when we have a market crash, it's the opposite. It flips around. Deals are everywhere, much harder to sell. Okay. So when worst case scenario, if you have a huge market correction or AKA a crash, is you guys are going to have to spend much more time with the buyers than you are to the sellers. From 2009 to 2011, almost every deal I did was off of the MLS. Why? Supply was so rampant, you didn't have to spend money marketing. That was the only time I still marketed, by the way, but you didn't have to do much to get it because most wholesalers quit and there was so much inventory on the market. Everyone was begging to sell. So if you knew how to network with realtors, you could just pick what deals you wanted to do. I also did a ton of short sale flips. The other problem in '08, '09 is everybody was upside down. Now that is not a current problem right now, but you need to consider it when there's any type of market crash. So you guys are going to have to spend much, much more time with the buyers when you have a market correction because they're scared to buy. So the days of just saying, Mr. Buyer, this is it, take it, leave it, it's going to come back to haunt some people because you're going to have to chase buyers a lot harder. In fact, in 2009 to 11, you could have rolled a quarter down the supermarket and you could have found everybody wanted to sell their house. Everybody was scared. The fear was unbelievable. And I'm going to kind of go into it. So how do you do this? You guys have to learn to network. So you got to learn to especially network with realtors, brokers. In a down market, that's a great time to work with other wholesalers. We're all so hard to work with each other. I don't know why. I don't know why we always we're always, I can't stand it. So networking is the key in a down market because you do not have to go far to find deals, but you do have to go far to find legitimate cash buyers. Because remember, in a down market, people are losing their jobs. People are fearful. People are downsizing in houses. You would be surprised how hard it is to sell a good deal in a down market. You just have to have a lot of play in it. So the other thing we're going to do in a down market is when you're contracting people, you are going to put in much more flexible terms. 30-day inspection periods. Let them know it could be 90 days. Shoot, I've seen stuff as long as 6 months on like the commercial stuff. And you got to be a lot more flexible. And sellers, they accept it because they don't have a lot of options, which leads us to the last beautiful thing. The last market crash, it was 100% crash. In 2000, it started in 2008. So when a market crashes, it takes about 12 to 18 months for any of the data to really start affecting the real estate market. So what happens is it's frustrating. So when the crash first starts to happen, interest rates are rising. You'll see inventory going up. Your motivated sellers, especially the landlords and the absentee owners, they all think the market's smoking hot. And you guys are going to run into this. It's a pain in the butt. But if you keep persistent in your follow-up, you will eventually get them. The sellers are the last ones to get the memo the market is drying up. Okay, they're the first ones to get it when it's hot. But when the market dries up, they think it's worth $1 million for a year after the data. Now, who wants to wait a year? I don't want to wait a year. You just have to wait people out. So in down markets, you guys are going to love this one. Creative financing rules. You know why? People don't have options. They will do whatever offer is given their way to get that property off their back. From 2009 to 12, is when I did my most creative financings, and they were by far my most profitable deals. So you guys know my philosophy on creative financing. I believe it should always be in a positive cash flow situation, especially if you're brand new, because I don't want anyone to get hurt. And that means whatever down payment you make, whatever repairs you make, and whatever you collect from your new buyer, your new tenant, if you're going to do a lease option, subject to whatever it is, you need to come out positive. So if you put down 30 grand to do any type of option or like a subject to, you took over their payment and say you're making 300 a month and you had to put another 5 grand in repairs, but then you only collected 15 grand up front, that's negative cash flow. I don't do that because, listen, in creative financing, when markets go down, prices go down. And sometimes, and if your creative financing deal is not cash flowing and say there's a vacancy, you could get in trouble really, really quick. You have to make that payment, guys, if you took over a subject to. So if you're talking about doing creative financing, you know my rules. Learn wholesaling first. It's the fundamentals of all real estate investing. And in down markets, people are wide open to do creative financing. The challenge with creative financing right now is a lot of people think it's a Band-Aid to skip wholesaling. It just means you're typically going to pay more. So it does take a time and a skill set to learn how to have the right conversation with creative financing. Guys, a little secret here, look at probates, the best spot to find creative financing, because you can take over a person that's passed away, their mortgage, and the family usually doesn't object to it. But I like to get really good deals. So like creative financing, if you've been doing it in the last year or two, if you have the right cash flow and the right strategy, that's great. But if you're just starting out, I don't want to pay above retail market. I don't know how that's attractive to a lot of people unless you have a long-term play on it. So a little lesson here. In 05, 06, I had about 10 subject to lease options. I had to give half of them back. Do you know how embarrassing that was for me? I overpaid for them. I based it completely off cash flow. I had no idea rents would drop back 50%. Insurance would shoot through the roof. I got hit with hurricanes. It was tough. I did creative finance because it seemed like, hey, this is a lot easier than wholesaling. In the long run, if you buy it wrong, the only thing that can fix it is time and money. So, guys, when the market's down, creative financing is a wonderful, wonderful thing, because when someone doesn't have an option and nobody's beating down their door to sell the house, you, the wholesaler, suddenly become very attractive in a creative financing solution. I'm not going to go into details on how to do all that here because that's an entire show in itself, but it works really well. The problem is doing creative financing right now, unless you have a highly motivated person, you're paying above market rates. So some people know how to do it. Some people have big bankrolls. If you have no money, creative financing, the only way you can do it is make sure you have a positive cash flow. So if you're giving the homeowner 5 grand, you need to make sure your new buyer brings at least 10 grand so you can get some sort of fee up front and cover costs on running that property. If you give 20 grand to the homeowner and you only get 10 grand from your new buyer, you are in a $10,000 hole. I don't care what your equity is, you are at risk. And so if you're looking to get into creative financing, when you see a market crash or correction, it is a great time. The only warning I'm going to give it to you guys, when these markets go down, they take 12 to 18 months for the data to hit. Okay. I'm already telling you the market's going to be good probably through summer, and then you're going to start to see signs. The key is you need to look at the data in your local market, and you need to analyze supply. You need to analyze interest rates and overall sentiment, what's going on in the market, and you make decisions on what you have to pivot on. You will have to adjust on pricing. End of story. You can't keep bidding them up with the rate we've going in the last 3 years. Shoot, really since 2010 and 11, we've bidded all these properties up. But guys, that's what I have on like the market crash. So what I would like to do is take your questions and talk to you about it. Like, don't ever be scared of a market correction or crash. Okay. The frustrating thing I can tell you in my 20 years experience, whenever there's a correction in the market, it takes time for the data to hit real estate market. It is nothing like the stock market. So the stock market goes in massive turmoil. If it's consistent, it does it. It eventually winds up in real estate, but it takes 12 to 18 months. So from 2007 to 2008, almost 9, probably the most frustrating time I ever had in wholesaling because nobody wanted to buy because they didn't know where the bottom was going to be. So you had to find really, really, really good cash buyers. You know how I did it? I networked. I spent a lot of time with realtors and brokers because the serious ones always stick around. So, guys, that's it. I'm going to jump up to the top. I'm way behind here, and I'm going to rip through this. What's up, Corey? Corey says, what's up, Rick? God bless you and Zach. You have changed my life. I'm quitting my corporate job after my 2 closings next month and wholesaling full time. So congratulations, Corey. That's what we're here for. Corey never paid us a dime. Corey spent his time. Corey went through freewholesaling.com. And honestly, Corey just took the initiative to get it done. So anybody that's going to tell you that you cannot get deals done unless you pay someone to do this, Corey's like proof of it. By the way, guys, we have hundreds and hundreds of people that do this. I don't know why people fault us at all. Like, I'm doing something for free. Like, why would that be a problem to you? If it hurts your business model, then change your business model. Okay. But time changes. I believe that we're connecting here is like a magical moment. And I love it. Corey, I mean, that is awesome. And I love to hear it. And I think we need to have a segment and bring Corey on live and all the hundreds of people have done it and find out like how they started and where they wound up. And I'll make an announcement. We'll definitely do something like that. It'll be a lot of fun. So congrats, man. This is why I do it, guys. It's really good. Let me get this off of there. Okay. Awesome. Francis is in Richmond. Okay. Here's a good one. So Anthony asked, hey, Rick, I'm in Atlanta. What were the flippers doing to navigate in 2008 to 11? I told you the biggest struggle was the market dropped for 2.5 years. Okay. So you guys have had the opposite. The market's gone up for over 10 years. So think of the opposite. What would you do differently? And I'm here to tell you, you got to be much, much more flexible in your pricing. And then a cash buyers list, actually, you have to spend time with these people. So the biggest change we had to do was spend much more time on the buyer side and less time on the seller side. Honestly, could you imagine going to MLS and getting whatever deal you wanted? That's what happened. That's how crazy it was. And the only thing is I look back, the only regret I have is I didn't like double, triple down and 10x what I was doing back then. I could have made so much money, I wouldn't even know what to do. But, we all learn. Life's a journey and you learn how to do it. It's easy to say that. So, Anthony, the key is you focus much more on the buyers because when the market's falling apart, buyers disappear. That's why supply goes through the roof. And you have to find good qualified cash buyers. And if you can use real estate agents, this is the one time you actually want to use them because they usually have very, very deep cash buyers. So, what's up? Jennifer's in Incy, Raleigh. I've been there. That's a pretty cool place. Let's see. Okay. Let's get to the questions. Could you? So William says, will the cash buyer pool increase? No, it will actually decrease massively. Think about it. When nobody's got money, the problem is there's so much money in the economy now because our government's printing so much. It's everywhere. That's why prices are going up. So number one is the Federal Reserve has to hedge inflation. They have to stop inflation. If inflation keeps persisting above 7%, which is at a 40-year high, you're going to see very aggressive rate hikes. And when you hear the word aggressive rate hikes, I promise you change is coming to real estate because people just can't afford as much house anymore. So it will decrease. Gabriel says, could you explain your first wholesale deal? Dude, I remember it like it was yesterday. So actually, I got a deal from a realtor that I went out and I met with 150 realtors. I took about a month. And I just worked with him. So I always looked for the realtor that was brand new or like they've done the business for 20 years plus. And I told them exactly what I was looking for. And voila, they called me and it wound up being her mother's house. And we wound up buying it. And so if you guys know Fort Lauderdale, I bought it on Los Olas, which are now all $5 million houses. And I assigned it for $10,000, thinking I was making a killing. I was a baller. I had a corporate job. The guy I sold it to, and I don't regret it. I'm happy. I want everybody to make money who buys from me. Um, he took 9 months and sold it for a $300,000 plus profit. So it kind of opened up my eyes to what's doing it, but I'm happy. I have no regrets for doing it. I did not have the ability. I didn't have the ability to really take it down. I didn't know how to. So the assignment was beautiful. Guys, I've been doing this so long, just so you know, back then, banks would have fund assignment fees. It was Bank of America. How crazy is that? So I just think that's funny. Have you heard of tedious route of manually? You started to know. So, but Gabe's asking questions, so I'm going to answer him. What's the difference you've experienced in wholesaling journey, and how have you developed from where you started? So, no matter what you do in life, it's always a journey. So, I was a lot younger and a little bit more immature when I started. Even though, you guys, I was 33 when I started this. Um, I will tell you this: I learned that taking any shortcuts will always cost me. And anytime I took a shortcut in wholesaling, it usually blew up in my face. So you're better off to deal with the situation up front than letting it fester and get worse. So if you have a problem with another wholesaler, with a buyer, a seller, hash it out as soon as possible, because if you ignore it, it will just come back in the form of a lawsuit or something crazy. And to be honest with you, when I lose a deal, I used to really get upset. So you guys know what I'm talking about. Type right now if you've lost a deal, you spent the money mentally, and it just broke your heart, because this used to kill me my first 7 years. I really took it personally, and I look back now, and I don't let it bother me. Actually, I got a message today that one of my guys, it looks like one of our deals is falling apart. And he was really, really upset about it. I said, listen, just, we'll move on. We'll just go find another one. So like we get plenty of deals. It's not a big deal. So I will tell you, I'm much more patient. When I lose a deal, long as I have a lot of deals in the pipeline, I don't lose sleep, but we constantly trying to find ways to save deals. So guys, you know what I'm talking about, man. When deals fall apart, they fall apart and it hurts. And it really hurts in the beginning when that happens. So let's see here. I lost my space here. Okay, here we are. My gosh. Okay. Guys, keep your questions coming. I'm wide open. What's up, Michelle? So Russian asking, yeah, guys, I'm just telling you, creative financing, I love it, but I don't really cater my marketing to it right now because I don't want to overpay. The prices are ridiculous right now. So if you get it just on cash flow, but like at some point you have to cash out a property. I've been burnt on creative financing because I thought the market would like go up forever. If you have a 10 or 15% price adjustment and you paid above retail, you could be looking at a 5 to 10 year mistake. So it makes sense when markets are down, creative financing is one. People are wide open to do stuff with you when there's no buyers. The problem is right now when you got 10 buyers, why do they want to do your deal? The only reason, most of the time, unless they're highly, highly motivated, which is great, which is all we do in wholesaling, is a lot of these creative financing deals, it's because you're paying the absolute most peak price. Of course, they're going to take your offer. But remember, if this thing goes backwards and the market unwinds and, I don't know, some sort of war breaks out, dude, creative financing is not super sexy sometimes. I've been there. I made mistakes. I bought at the wrong time in the wrong properties. But I was in South Florida. I didn't realize rents could go back 50%. I didn't know they would double, if not triple, my property insurance. And then the taxes went up because the property wasn't homesteaded threefold. Oh, and then throw on 2 hurricanes. Yeah, that's why I got my teeth kicked in on creative. But listen, you would have got your teeth kicked on a regular deal. So it's not. I love creative financing. Remember, guys, creative financing is never forced. It's an opportunity. It's presented to you, and if you have the ability to have that conversation with people, amazing things can happen. So that's why I love them in probates. So Mustache Mike says, they say that rent normally never goes down. Why so much? Mike, so rent is nothing more than a supply and demand issue. If the demand's up there, the rents will keep rising. So as inflation goes up, rents are going to keep rising. They will adjust. We've seen our rents in the South Florida market literally double in 12 to 16 months. I never thought that was possible, but I've had it go the other way too, where it rolls way back. I think rents are going to level off in probably like the late fall. So the problem is, if you're buying a deal, it's like an Airbnb, and you did like a creative financing, and you were depending on these certain cash flows, and then there's a 15% correction. If you were buying on very narrow numbers, you could get in big trouble quick, because the other downside of it is when supply gets really heavy, renters have a field day, and they deserve it because they've got their teeth kicked in the last 2 or 3 years. But you can go live in like a penthouse apartment overlooking the water for $1,000 a month because there's hundreds of them available. And that can happen too. I had a rental once sit for a year and a half. I couldn't, like, the rents were dropping so fast, it was brutal. So what's up, Jason? So Jason asked a funny question here. So I believe Jason, I believe you teach real estate. I've seen your name pop up on that. When's Jerry Norton coming back on the show? Probably not going to happen. So just for the record, Jerry didn't come on our show. We got invited. Zach got invited to go on Jerry's show, and that's how that happened. So I don't think it's going to happen. Actually, he's a good guy, very seasoned in the business, and actually have no issues the way he teaches on it. But you guys know how I feel about organizations and talking about like everything being banned. It's just no like point in it. So it's Jason, maybe you should have him on your show. Maybe you guys could have fun. So actually, I've never seen any other wholesaler be called to a debate. And the problem with the debate is when they're live, you have to come with the facts. And if anything, I think the debate actually helps shed light on the task that needs to be done at hand. Because opening up just an organization, you cannot do it like a real estate course. You have to think it through with people outside the real estate industry. So hopefully Zach shed some light on it. So Jason, why don't you have him on your show and then invite us all on, and we'll have like a great time with it. So, hey guys, I got no problem with like Jerry, but the problem is if you're going to call out and you're going to do a live debate, you probably got to be a little bit more prepared with the data. So I think Jerry's he's actually a humble guy. He took the information, and hopefully we all learn from it and move forward. So we have no issues with it. Life's too short to sit here and pick like bones and stuff with it. So here's the difference, Jason. I offer all my stuff for free, and I challenge all gurus just like you to do the same, because teaching real estate the way we did 20 years ago at a 70% discount does not make sense to me. So I'm talking about wholesaling. I'm not teaching you how like to run a full scale business. So, but Jason, I appreciate the comment. So let's see. Margot says bubble burst. So Curtis says, what is the best state to start wholesaling in it if you've never done it before? The state you live in. I mean, I'm just telling you, you got to know that like in your backyard is the best place to do it, guys. And even if you're in California, New York, or even South Florida, you still know your area better than anybody else. And for that reason alone, you need to always be entrenched in your local market. Yes, you can add virtual, but you just got to do your homework. If you guys want to find ways if you want to research a market, the best way to do it is we do listrei.com. That's our partner with PropStream. You get a 7-day free trial period. And this will tell you where the cash buyers are, if markets are hot. That they got like a heat map, which is really cool. I use it a lot in the virtual markets. And I do a lot of testing in virtual markets, meaning I'm not going to spend $10,000 on a market I've never done before. I'm going to go in and smaller list and we're going to test it. Like the cold call and SMS because you can get to the data and the people very, very fast. But remember, start in your state. And if you want to do the virtual, go to listrei.com. It is really the best way to research it. And guys, remember the reverse hack I taught you? Sign up for every wholesaler's cash buyers list and reverse engineer where they're buying these properties, specifically the zip code. Honestly, that's almost more powerful than a lot of stuff PropStream can do. It will point you in the right direction in the market. Then you can use PropStream to find your cash buyers. And I got to tell you, that's made me a lot of money over the years. And honestly, if they're going to put you on their cash buyers list and not vet you, it's their problem, not yours. I gotta figure out how to share like this computer screen. I will do it next time, I promise. I apologize. This is, let me see here. Nope. Okay. Let me try something here. Nope, not gonna work. Nope, not gonna work. Okay, guys, keep your questions coming. I'll answer them as they come in. So you guys are talking among yourselves, so I'm only going to answer some of these questions. So Jennifer says that, like, here, remember I was talking about deals falling through? This stuff, I swear it was like your high school sweetheart breaking up with you. You put so many energy and time into it. Jennifer, like, stuff just falls through. It's it. Just deal with it. Like, you can't emotionally get upset. Like, guys, I teach you all the time. If you want to be happy, just be happy. Happy is not a destination, and nor is doing deals. And we never talk about this in the wholesaling community. So many of us, we are so divined. And remember, you got to leave your ego at the door. But the first 7 years, I let my ego get tied to how many deals I did or how successful I was on the amount of deals I did. And it's just a poor judge of like wholesaling. I've watched really bad wholesalers do a ton of deals, and I've watched really good wholesalers struggle. And I rather have the guy struggling in my business than the one who's succeeding because, guys, Jennifer, like this, when your deals fall through, that's when you go, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I've learned this from it, and it's going to save you from the next big deal. I just did a deal, high six-figure one on a nice house. And I got to be honest with you, if you gave me that deal 7-10 years ago, I probably would have screwed it up. So your failures are learning experiences. It's not like school. You want to fail, guys. I'm telling you, the more you fail, the better you'll do in life. The people that are going to criticize you are the ones that sit on their butts and do nothing all day. You guys are special being wholesalers. We are such a crazy breed. Okay. And then I talk about it. So, like, I do things, if I'm consistent and persistent, I don't worry about it. If I'm not consistent and persistent, I freak out because that's when your stuff falls apart. Okay. Say you do 3 or 4 good deals, you pop to like 100K in the bank, and then you start coasting. Challenges are going to happen in your life. And I've always made the most money when I've had challenges because it reminds me to be humble and to keep fighting and pretend we're broke. I tell my wife we're broke every day. We got to start over. Grant Cardone says it. I made money yesterday, but I'm broke today. What am I going to do to fix it? You have to have the same attitude. So deals don't define you as a person. Don't let them get you way up here. And on the light side, when you lose them, don't let them like kick you in the teeth and like you like be miserable for the rest of the day of the week. Your family deserves better than that, and you're better than that. So let's see here. So Ferris, if you're asking what marketing method to do, a cold calling and SMS is probably going to be your most efficient. I would tell you driving for dollars, but you don't have that. So I would look in the cold calling. Go over to freewholesaling.com, look in our cold calling section, and that'll help you. So Russia says stocks are up today. It's just really weird. They were up yesterday, they were down. So we are in a really, really strange market. But you guys can agree with this on real estate. Since 2011, this has been a rocket ship. Okay. If you guys think it's going to go up forever, markets always correct. Free markets have to correct or they will implode. Okay. You do not want a market to go up forever. Think of stocks if they just went up and they never went down. It never works that way. So here's what I want you to do. If someone look up, I told you guys last week, look up 100-year history of the U.S. housing market and look at a graph and you'll see the ups and downs. So those of you go, no, it's going to go up forever, Rick. It's never going to change. You haven't lived through it. I made the mistake of 06, 07. I thought it would never correct. And that was the biggest correction in like almost 100-year period. So I don't know what's going to happen. So you have to prepare for it. So guys, give me a few likes here. I am really light on the likes today, and likes helps our algorithm for more people to find it that think just like you and me. So Kip asks, what happens when you put a seller in a contract and you find it on Zillow a few days later? Well, the contract supersedes Zillow by far. So if you have a legitimate contract and a deposit, I would just call up the seller because I assume the seller put it on Zillow, or worse, a listing agent did. And if a listing agent did, you want to let them know immediately you have it under contract. And then remember I talked about, Kip, like we can't let problems fester. Just get to the root of the problem, have a conversation and see what's going on. Now, if they start lying to you and you see it on there, just remind them you have a contract with them and see if that remedies the situation. But that's an odd one. That's weird. So, so guys, give me some more questions and we're going to wrap this one up early. Oh, we got plenty of them here. So Plug Me says he pulled a list on ListSource. I know you guys are talking about yourself. Dude, I stopped using ListSource 4 years ago. It's not cost effective, and it's owned by CoreLogic. You're crazy not to use like ListRI or even like Batch Leads. I'm telling you, it is a God, ListSource. You know, I used to pay 15 cents per lead a la carte. It's absolutely crazy, but you get 10,000 leads with listrei.com, guys. Like seriously. You can also use let's see on here. I always forget the code Zach puts in here. Anyways, I'll pop it up there. So listrei.com, it's on the screen on there. So guys, don't use ListSource anymore. It just you get a much better value for it. So Musta says, hey, Jerry's a good guy. Dude, Jerry's a good guy. Guys, here's how I look at it with like gurus. You know, we all talk about, me and Zach just have a different way of doing stuff. Okay. At the end of the day, everyone's trying to help everyone. Okay. My problems with gurus with very, very little experience, with very large fees, and they've scaled their coaching business, and that's their main source of income, because people are getting hurt. And it's why we have so much criticism on the wholesaling industry as a whole. Okay. But it's fair to say I'm friends with most of the gurus out there, meaning I know them. I've been around the circles. We've all been in a mastermind or something together. So here's how I look at it, okay? I find it's so funny. People will say anything they want on the internet. Do you ever notice that? You ever, like in social media, like, hey, what's this? What's that? Or I can't believe you did that. And then when you meet them in person or talk to them on the phone, nicest people in the world. That's how life works. So we've had this social media and everybody's got a say in stuff, and people have gotten really bold, and it's created a lot of problems in our life. And I've learned when we have a problem, we try to go to the source and fix it. And I'm trying to get better in doing that. But at the end of the day, I have a different method than Jerry does, and I'm fine with it. But Jerry started back when I did, and I'm okay with that. I just have a different method of getting there. That's the beauty of wholesaling. We can all choose the path we want. So just because I don't do it Jerry's method or this guy's method or her method doesn't make me like an arch enemy. It just makes me, I guess, daring. But listen, I remember when the internet came out, they're like, oh, it's never going to work. I remember when cell phones come out, like, no, you're never going to do that. I remember when a lot of stuff come out, we all wrote it off, and eventually it took over our lives. So I believe there's no more secrets in wholesaling. Anybody can go out there and do it. And you have an option. If you just want to learn the fundamentals, go to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach teach you how to do it. 25 years experience. You find anybody with a course out with more experience than me and Zach in there, then great. But it's free, guys. You can't fault me for being free. Okay? And people can argue, well, free is no skin in the game. Dude, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people doing deals. So something's got to be working. If you pay for a course or you get mine, I'm specifically talking about wholesaling, guys. You're getting the same, like, you're not getting anything more paying someone. So a lot of you go, well, I'll get more of their attention. Well, what if you have 100 people on a Zoom? Do you really feel like you're getting the attention you need with that? So if you want to go get one-on-one mentoring and you can physically stand in front of someone and they'll give you a fair rate, knock yourself out. It is very good. But just because I do it different, just, you know what? It is what it is, guys. It's like things have to change. I want to change this business. I think it's ridiculous. Everything's out there on the internet. You guys can find it for yourself. So find it from a trusting source like me and Zach and go out there and nail it. And then when you make a bunch of money, if you want to hire someone to scale your business or learn to do fix and flips or specifically buy and holds, there's a lot of people that teach you how to do that. But my whole goal, Zach's whole goal, is to get you started, get you fired up about wholesaling. It's changed my life. You've seen what it's done with my son, and that's it. At the end of the day, people like me and Jerry, we're very like-minded thinking. I have a different path than him. So look at it like lawyers. You go out to dinner, we all have a good time. We all talk about our families, and we all love our families. But you get in the courtroom, we will fight like dogs for what we believe is right. And that's how I look at it. And you guys have to at least respect me and Zach for how we do it, because we don't back down from anyone. And but like people like Jerry have never been my problem, ever. It's these fly-by-night guys that just crazy. And I've already told everybody, I am not a big fan of this coaching call. Like, call us for an interview to see if you qualify. You know what the qualification is? Do you have a credit card? That's it. So, TH says, mailing pre-probates. Is there a better way? Do you know to buy stamps? I don't know. You just like buy them at the post office. That's what we do. I mean, I just buy them in they're like rolls of 100. They're not the cheapest thing anymore. But guys, the more official the stamp looks, the better your response is going to be. So don't do like these what do they call the Pitney Bowes automatic stamp machines. Like you print it on there, you get a little bit discount rate, but it looks like it's junk mail when you do that. So just get a regular stamp. And honestly, there's not that many probates, so just get like rolls of 100 and use them. So I think a stamp's what? How much is a stamp now? It's like 56, 57 cents. Russian, every day is pre-foreclosure season, so not like football. Eric says, what goes down must come up too. That is correct. So we learned that after 2009-10. But you guys, I want you to understand, from 2010 to 13, it did not take off like a rocket ship. Just more and more buyers kept coming in the market, and wholesaling got a little bit more mainstream, and that's why it got so popular. So, oh Lord, here we go. Let's see here. Jennifer says, I'm doing my first deal. Congratulations, Jennifer. I messed up and I thought I lost it, but I just got messaged it's a go. Thank you guys so much. So, Jennifer, like this is the perfect example. Like this is how I was the first 7 years started out. Whenever like a seller ghosts you, especially after like you've agreed to a contract and you're going to bring them a contract and then they disappear on you, or worse off, you sign a contract and then you can't find them for like 2 or 3 weeks and you have a buyer ready to go who wants to fund it tomorrow. I get heart palpitations over that stuff. So I've calmed down on that. And I don't want any of you guys to be dependent on any one buyer or seller to dictate the success of your life. So you get over it, you just follow through, you make the call. So I am very, very happy it worked out for you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Guys, this stuff happens all the time. It's like an emotional roller coaster with wholesaling. Remember, you can't get too high and you can't get too low. And that's what really makes a wholesaler, because at the end of the day, you cannot control everything. People are going to do stuff to piss you off, and you just can't let it ruin your day. Nothing ever goes perfect. Roy says, novation agreements. Royce, I wonder why you're asking me about novation agreements. So a novation agreement is, there's no such thing. So the word novation and agreement does not belong in the same word. So you guys know novations are put together because they've coined it as a new phrase. It's not. Novation's been around forever. The word novation means to replace. So how are you going to have a novation agreement if it's to replace it? So here's how a novation works. I have a contract. I say, you know what? I don't want to close on this contract, or I don't want to do it, or maybe the buyer and the seller have an issue with it. And then either the buyer or the seller says, hey, listen, if you cancel that contract, can my friend bring in this contract and do that? It's called novation. It's replacement. It's not a novation agreement. Okay. Go talk to any lawyer. Like, you have to cancel one contract and enter into another one. If you guys think there's one contract that does all that together, you can't. Like, in a perfect world, like we all learned, if you guys have followed any history on like lease options, they tried to blend the entire contract for the rental and the lease, the lease and the option all in one. And guess what? It got in front of a judge and he goes, you can't blend contracts together. A lease has nothing to do with an option. They have to be completely separate agreements. So now you have to do them separately. So if you guys think you can do novation agreements and put it all together and sell it as this, there's somebody out there who has an entire channel developed to novations. The other thing with novation means to replace. And the target is, guys, there's an easier way than wholesaling. All these sales pitches all start out, there's an easier way than wholesaling. There's not. It just sounds sexier. So let me get this straight. You want me to enter into an agreement with a distressed homeowner that's unrealistic on their price, and me go find a buyer, which basically I'm acting as a broker. That's how we all get in trouble in wholesaling. And then we're going to bring him in and we're going to sign a lien on the property for a massive amount in my favor. And then they're going to do the repairs. And then you're going to split the money with the homeowner. You got to be kidding me. Like, guys, you do not want to partner up with a distressed homeowner. They will take you out. And by the way, I've seen these novation packages, whatever you want to call them. You have to record a lien. And guys, if you never recorded a lien before, you better make sure you know what you're doing, because you can get in trouble if you do not follow procedures and use the correct legal terminology. Then you guys are asking the homeowner to sign a power of attorney. Yeah. Guys, I've been to court before, all these agreements and stuff, and if the homeowner's not happy in the end, they're going to take it out on you. I do not partner up with distressed homeowners. Every now and then we have to substitute a contract. That makes perfect sense. Novations happen naturally. If you're selling novations up front, in my opinion, you're brokering without a license, black and white, and you're going to get nailed doing it. So I don't even want to listen, I've been pitched all the time. The last thing I want to do is partner up with a distressed homeowner that's unrealistic on their price. So prove me wrong, guys. Like, I need to do one, but the reason you're hearing about novations is just like repackaged wholesaling stuff, and it sounds sexy and new to you, and everyone thinks it's like the latest greatest secret. It's been around forever. Novation is replacement. That's it. Ferris says, do you sign a memo when you sign your contract to protect the deal? No, I don't. And there's a reason for it. I once got sued for this, and I learned my lesson. So the only time you should record something in public record is if you have a problem. Okay. So by the way, a particular franchise wholesaling company, The biggest one in the country. He's got like some sort of caveman, talks about ugly houses here and there. They go around and they record a memo on every contract they write. So I found 300 in public record, and the homeowner's not even aware of it. So you are supposed to disclose anything you record in public record. And by the way, if you record it erroneously and it's bad and you didn't perfect it, you can now be sued for defamation of title. And just be very, very careful if you're going to do it. So something that you would record is if you did an option on a property, you have to record your option, your notice of option in public record. That would be something that would be accordingly. But and then guys, if you have any type of like state approved contract with the Board of Realtors and lawyers, most of them say you cannot record anything in relation to this contract, or you violate the contract. And if you violate the contract, then you can get in big trouble. So guys, understanding when you record something is a legal maneuver, and you better make sure you're very familiar in what you're doing. The biggest argument going around is recording the memos when people do not perform on a contract, and basically it clouds the title. I'm telling you, if you have not perfected your deposit, you don't have an escrow letter, and you didn't show up to the title company with proof of funds ready to go, you can be sued big time for defamation of title. Happens all the time, guys. And some of these wholesalers just record them like they're like it's nothing. I'm just telling you. I only record a memorandum when someone's trying to go around my back. Everyone's playing games. But when I do it, I make sure I have a clean contract. I have an attorney review it. And here's the key. I have an attorney prepare the memorandum, and I have them record it. Okay. So when somebody reaches out, they contact my attorney. They don't call me personally, and they know you are not playing around. So just be careful when you record anything. So I'm born for greatness. I love that. What's the best way to find wholesalers for a joint venture? Just start in the chat here. It's one of the best places. Or I tell you, one of the other ones we do it because I do a lot of deals with a lot of people here. Go to, let's see here. Where did I go? Let me put it up here. Go to our Facebook group, Wholesaling Houses for Real. It is the fastest growing, the most active members in a Facebook wholesaling group. And we police it very hard. We have 3 simple rules in there. Please read it before you go in there. If you spam, you get blocked forever in there. So our spam list, I think, is like 5,000 people. Do not waste our time. I don't want to see like your Forex stuff. I don't want to see your MLM scam. I don't care. Okay. If you're not going to provide value, if you don't want to work with people, do not do it. It drives me freaking nuts. Okay. Guys, I'm begging now. I'm begging for likes. I might get double digit here if we can do it. Let's do it. Guys, please help me with that likes. So, what else do I have here? These are some really good questions here. Let's see. Guys, put your comments in there. If you put your questions, comments, whatever you need to do. And so if you guys don't want to use List REI with PropStream, you can use Batch. Just go to zachdata.com, and he's got it set up where you get 5,000 free pulls, which is pretty cool. So the really cool thing is we only recommend products we use in our business. So we use Batch and PropStream. People are like, oh, why? Why you pick one or the other? Guys, I don't own these companies. We just use them. We pay a subscription to them, and we use them. We know how to use them well. Prop does certain things a little bit better than Batch, and vice versa. So why not? If I can get the best of both worlds, I do a lot of data. It's worth it for me. If you're just starting out, you don't need this. But if you're going to start out with one, just pick it. You make a decision. Batch offers you a few more options, but it can be a little bit more expensive. PropStream is pretty straightforward. If you want to get 10,000 leads I believe it's under $100 a month. It's well worth it. Plus, you can use some of their CR management, the list management, and definitely some of the comping. Guys, don't let anybody freak you out about like MLS data. It doesn't matter. It's so easy to comp a property. I could care less. So, okay, let's go to the comments, guys. Come on, it's Friday night. Let's light this thing up. So we just answered this question mark. Which one's better to pull? The one that you want to use. So use Zach Data or listrei.com. It doesn't matter. They both have their pluses and minuses. If you want to do like a full robust system with skip tracing, everything in it, I would lead towards batch. If you just want to straight up, hey, I want to do 10,000 leads and run all my comps and lists, List REI might be your better bet on it. So you guys make that determination. You know what? We get feedback from you on which ones they like, and honestly, it's right down the middle. So that's why we do both. So I don't like go all in and go, hey, you got to use this company. That I use them both. I'm learning every day when I use them. It takes a few months to master these lists that you're working on. Okay. So Brandon, what's up, Brandon? Question is list pendants the same as liens? No. So a list, so it's not list, it's list. Is it Liz? LIS pendants. That's just a fancy legal word for a formal announcement of a lawsuit. That's it. A lien is something that's recorded against a property that has a monetary value, and it could be legit, it could not be legit. So a typical lien is going to be a mortgage, any type of debt recorded against the house. Maybe somebody did an addition to the house and they put a lien on the property. So a lien is recorded, and a lis pendens is when you get sued. Lis pendens are typically, now guys, a lis pendens doesn't have to come from even a bank. Someone could do a lis pendens even over a title issue. So a lis pendens is a formal lawsuit that's been announced. And how do they announce it? They serve you, usually with a police officer, to what they call serve you. You ever guys see those shows where people like, yeah, I guess they're servers and all they do is like serve people? Wild stuff to catch people to do that. So also when I pull county records, their files are not in batch skip tracing format. Please help. So when you pull county records, they do it the way they want to. The nightmare is when they put them in a PDF and they don't put them in like a CSV file or an Excel file. So here's what you do. One of my favorite places to go to is Fiverr. I don't know how to spell it, but just Google it. Fiverr.com. I have somebody that works with me, and for anywhere from $15 to $25, I tell them what I want to sort out on the spreadsheet. I send them an Excel spreadsheet, and I usually get it back the next day or two. I do not want to use that much brain power trying to do pivot tables and macros. I can do them, but I suck at it. Like I don't like doing it, so I don't want to do it. So try that out. You'd be surprised how quickly someone can do it. So Chris says, do homestead properties in Florida still go through probate if one spouse survives or both spouses die? So Chris, part of it depends on how they set up the title on the deed. I've seen all sorts of happen, but typically on a homestead property, I'm just going to give you a general answer on this because I know this well. If a husband and wife own the property and one passes away, the proper procedure is to contact a lawyer and say, listen, someone's passed away in the family. We need to clear the title up. Then what they do is they get all the information. They get a copy of the will, and then they write up. Now, what they're going to do is there's an express way to do it in this particular case, as long as they're legally married and there's nothing crazy going on, there's no objections with the family, is they do what they call a summary of administration. And that's just a fancy word of taking the house out of probate because it doesn't belong there in that case scenario. Now, what I really like about listrei.com is they have a pre-probate list you can do, and it finds properties just like this. So what happens is the attorney is going to file to get that property out of probate. It's crazy how it works. Most states have this in it, and you'll see a property, they file for probate, and then it goes out of probate. It's absolutely crazy. By the way, this happens with trusts, depending on when people die and joint joint tenants with rights of survivorship. There's all sorts of legal ways to hold it. And people do some like advanced stuff to avoid probate. So you are correct in homestead. So it's called a summary of administration, Chris. And the good news is a summary administration usually happens in 45 to 90 days max. So it happens really, really fast. And by the way, in a summary administration, the personal representative, which is often the other spouse, if they want to sell it, they can enter into a legal contract and you can enforce it. So, well, look at dude, Scorpion coming right out the gate, asking quality questions. Please name all the tools that a beginner needs. Thank you. You ready for this? I'm just going to drop a bomb on you right here. Okay. There it is. It's scrolling across the screen. That's the only tool you need. Freewholesaling.com. Go to Wholesaling Houses for Real, the largest Facebook group of like-minded wholesalers with active users. I'm not talking about like dead users from 10 years ago that aren't wholesaling anymore. These are people that are doing this every day. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to freewholesaling.com. Really good questions, man. Good stuff. Jennifer says, thank you so much for everything you teach. This is priceless. So I'd like to say I'm teaching, but I'm really just kind of sharing my life experience. And that's why I kind of enjoy it to do it because it comes naturally to me. And man, I did this journey the hard way. So we appreciate you, Eric. All right. So we got a few more likes in there. Squeeze it in, guys. Keep squeezing in. If you like what you're seeing, then do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified. We do go live. We do two videos a day we post. And I believe we do more lives than anybody else in the wholesaling community because it is the best way to interact with you guys. I enjoy it. I love it. I've been doing this 20 years. I ain't going anywhere, guys. No one's chasing me out. When the market shifts, I'll still be here. If it goes up or down, I'll still be here. And that's a really cool thing. It's somebody like you can really trust in the business. So Francis says, I paid $8K making payments on a course before I found you guys crying, but not done yet. But listen, Francis, just make the best of the situation, okay? Actually, I commend you for taking action, but the problem is the 8K is not going to make you an elite wholesaler. So, so utilize that stuff you have. Use freewholesaling.com. So my biggest challenge is I don't know why gurus in a wholesaling space, when you're just starting out, knowing the number one objection when people buying core, when people get started wholesaling is I don't have the funds to do marketing, but then you demand $8,000 from them and then you set them up on a payment plan. They're going to fail miserably. Think about this for a second, okay? So Francis, what I do is whatever, it's already spent. So make the best of it. Maybe you can find a few golden nuggets in there. If not, go to freewholesaling.com. By the way, I've lost a lot more than that with coaches that didn't know what they were doing in all different categories outside of wholesaling. So it's no big deal. I've done 6 figures before and walked away. I'm like, that's all you got? Like, you got to be kidding me. So it's okay. There's no crying. There's no crying in fishing and wholesaling. That's it. So, hey, Tony, I appreciate it. I really do. So thank you so much. And they said the best way you guys, if they go, hey, Rick, what's your fee? Dude, just watch the videos, have fun with it, enjoy it, and learn from it. Hit like, hit subscribe, and share it with people that you think that can benefit from it. So Mark says, how many probates are you guys pulling per month in your business? So the cool thing about probates is it's not this huge giant category. So my average county, so I do 5 counties of probates. Sometimes do more, we do less. And remember, all these counties are close together, and you'd think they're 5,000 miles apart because they're all completely different. My average county has anywhere from 40 to 80 probates in a month. Now, I'm not in the biggest part of South Florida. I'm up in like the Port St. Lucie area. So I'm used to it. The numbers are very, very, very predictable. The numbers got really off during the last year and a half due to everything, the government shutdowns and stuff. And now we're starting to see stuff really pour on. So probates are never going to be huge unless you're in a major metropolitan area, like a really large area like LA, Tampa, Miami, or something like that, because you have to have big, giant counties to get numbers, because there's actually data on the percentage of people that pass away in a given day, year, or month. So, all right, guys, when you do probates, you will not go broke doing them. You might get bored, but you're not going to go broke. I promise you. Don't worry about it. So first, ask about the pre-probates on PropStream. Dude, what you've got to understand about that is if you go to listrei.com, you get a free 7-day free trial period. And remember, me and Zach help train you on it because we use this actual software. Is they have a pre-probate list. Now, I don't pull it every month. I try to pull it once a quarter, but it's going to pull up anyone that has a death record and owns a property in that county. And it's going to catch all the trust, all the people that don't have to go through probate. So I want you to understand, over 50% of properties in the United States do not go through probate when someone dies. Well, how is that, Rick? There's a million case scenarios. The pre-probate catches them all. So I rather catch them all than just get a micro blast of them. So I like the pre-probate. You don't have to do it every month. I do it like once a quarter. If it's working for you, do it every month, because most of it are going to be the same people over and over on those lists. But they work really, really. It's a death certificate and somebody owns a property within that county. That means you have a probability of buying the house. That's it. So Mustache Mike says the stamp is 58 cents. Good Lord. It's getting ridiculous. Leave it to the government. Okay. France, what's up? I appreciate you too. And so you guys know I was on yesterday with Zach. We had some fun. Joseph said the fundamentals to make money. I love you all's course. Guys, wholesaling, there's no shortcuts. There's no secrets. You just got to dive in and do it. And it's a lot of fun. I can't believe 20 years has gone by. I really feel like I started yesterday. And honestly, I feel for everybody starting right now, because we all have a journey when we do it. And man, it happens quick. If you want to make a change in your life and you want to be financially free and you want freedom to do whatever you want, then you got to do it. So let me try this one more time while I got you guys on here. Why I am. Let's see. Set as. Okay. Well, I'm not going to do that. I know I got to get the tech guy in here. You can tell when I'm all by myself sometimes. Well, that's not going to work. Okay. Well, I give up on that. Okay. Moving on. Oh boy. Okay, I'm behind here. Let's see here. What TP asked a really good question. What's added to your success rate the most? Just being really persistent and consistent. Like, that's it. Persistency, consistency will lead to massive amounts of confidence. Dude, that's not just it, but honestly, without those three things, wholesaling is very, very tough. And I got to tell you, when I started, I didn't have the confidence, but I had the enthusiasm. So anybody out there says, oh, I'm too young, I don't know what I'm doing. Dude, I taught a 16, 17-year-old kid how to make 100 grand really quick. And you guys can do the exact same thing. I did it. Zach did it. Hundreds, if not thousands of you guys have done it without spending a dime on gurus. You can do it. Okay. By paying a large fee doesn't automatically make you successful. It just puts you on the hook. But remember, you're only as good as the program they have. So if somebody put out a program since 2013 and the market's gone nothing but up, I can't wait to see what the program's going to look like when the market goes down, because I don't think they have a clue about it. Okay, careful putting addresses on here, guys. So Mark asked, how do you not run out of leads to market to, especially after being in the business 20 years? Dude, I've had this question, like, I used to have nightmares about this thing. So I always had a fear, and tell me if you guys haven't had this fear, like, I'm going to run out of deals to do. I talk about it all the time still this day, like, we're going to run out of deals. We got to keep doing it. What happens is life changes. Okay. These are gray hairs on the side. I I try to keep them not gray, but time goes on, guys. I'm 52. I started in my 30s, and I'm here to tell you, I've lived in 12 homes since then. So if I lived in 12 homes, what about all you? Have you guys moved? Have you had life changes? Have your kids grown up? Have your kids have babies? Do you have to move your parents into a different home? Like, life changes. It never stops, Mark. I can tell you, man, life moves fast. And real estate is a big part of the American culture, and it's not going anywhere. 330 million plus people. You do the math. I'm just telling you, I never run out. And here's the really cool part, guys. The more you do wholesaling, the more deals you do, because, like, honestly, I spend plenty of money marketing. You have to, like, if you want to be consistent in it. So number one, I do spend money on marketing. But number two, I could stop marketing today. I would still be buried in deals. I'm just very selective with the deals I do. I don't waste time on, like, stuff that doesn't make sense to me anymore. In the old days, I chased everything. Now I pick and choose what I want to do. And I have such a regular flow of deals through my networking abilities and all the people I know in the business that I could stop marketing. But I'm not going to stop marketing, because if I did that, eventually things would change and you'll learn. So when you start, you have no deals, you have no leads, and it's like it feels impossible. Then fast forward to 20 years, like, why am I still marketing? Because I want to keep my staff fed. I want to keep everybody busy. I really enjoy working on the deals. I'm one of these crazy people that just enjoys the art of doing deals. That I know what you guys are going to say. Don't use his name to give me a quote on it, but I really love pursuing real estate. Once I have it under contract and it's locked in and we're good to go, I get bored quick. My ADHD kicks in and I want to go do another deal. So this is how I do it. It's fun. It's just like fishing. I catch a great fish today. I want to go out tomorrow and even get a bigger one. And you guys should think the exact same way. So you never run out of deals. The more business you do, the more deals flow to you. So if you understand that mentality, it should help you out, Mark. Okay. This is a really good one. So Lady Compassion, she has compassion. So they got a contract with an elderly lady. She agreed to sell the house for 200K and signed it when I sent someone to her house. 6 months ago, she had listed for 260. I assigned 220. Then her family claims dementia. So I'm trying to understand. She agreed to sell the house for 200, had it listed for 260. You assigned it for 220, so you made 20K. So her family claims dementia. So I don't know how long this progressed over. If hopefully the deal went down for you. I will tell you this, okay? I've dealt with a lot of elderly people. You guys, anybody who's elderly that's especially by themselves, do yourself a favor up front, okay? And I don't have all the. I appreciate you sharing the information. I've had this thing happen to me probably 100 times. When you have somebody that's elderly living by themselves, which happens all the time here in Florida, I instantly invite in a family member. Hey, do you have some kids we can call? Bring somebody in, because remember when I tell you talking about taking shortcuts, it feels really good to get that contract. But I've been confronted with family members at closings, and it's a very uncomfortable and awkward position. Family members, I tried to include the transaction over a month's period of time, and they still tore me up at the end. So try to bring in family members to get their endorsement, because if you don't, they could kill your deal at the end. And then number two, if there's no family members on help, ask for a family lawyer or somebody that can help you out. Help her out. You will look like the hero. You will actually get major credibility points up front, and you'll prevent this thing where people come back and say, I can't do this. I don't want to, like, she had dementia and stuff like that. I had once, ready for this, I had an elderly lady. She goes, listen, my kids are crazy. I go, I'd really like to involve them. I tried to involve the kids. They wouldn't do. I even helped our company even helped her with an estate sale because the kids didn't want to do it. The day she was moving, the kids showed up, gave me a hard time. You ready for this? But then they had the 86-year-old woman driving a full-size U-Haul pickup truck from Florida to, I believe, to Houston, Texas. Then they told me she's pretty much blind, she's senile, and she has dementia. I'm like, why is she driving a truck for a 2.5-day trip? At the end of the day, I said, listen, I'll walk away. I won't. That's fine. I'm not going to be accused of this stuff. They go, no, we need your money to move mom. They were moving grandma to go take care of their kids that had special needs. I'm not here to judge people. Everyone's got like a story, but like, don't make me the big bad wolf. My point of this, Lady Compassion, is I've had this exact thing happen to me. If you guys do this long enough, you will. Whenever you have someone that's elderly or by themselves, try to bring in a family member or a lawyer or someone you can trust. You can say, well, Rick, it's going to kill my deal. I promise you, if you go in and just lock it up and you don't do it, someone will come out of the woodworks and make your life hell. Remember, you should treat everyone just like it's your mother. Hopefully you love your mother and you take care of them. But I'd rather the deal blow up early than blow up at the closing table. Remember, we talk about like breaking our heart at the closing table. My God, I hate that stuff. So, okay. So here we go. I got somebody on here who's trying to, unbelievable. So when you spam in the comments, you just get blocked forever. So it just, you're wasting time on it. I don't understand. Like, spamming is so old now, it's ridiculous. So, lady, I'm following up. What do I do when her family claims dementia? You need to tell me if you already did the deal or not. Okay. If you've done the deal, there's nothing you can do. You got to move forward and you're just going to have to deal with it with integrity. If the deal's pending and they claim she has dementia, then you have to involve the family. Like, there's no other way to do this. So, shoot, I feel like I have dementia sometimes, but listen, if you've ever dealt with an elderly parent with dementia, Alzheimer's, or anything like that, it's hard. So you got to you have compassion in your name. So you're just going to have to work with them and find out the best solution that'll help the family, even if you have a contract. Because if she has dementia, you could have challenges on the contract, and I don't want that for you. So go talk to the family and try to have a meeting and see what you guys can work out. So if she has to sell the house because maybe she's moving into a nursing home or doing something else, then it's good. But if she can't sell the house and she didn't know what she's doing, you got to hear that side of the story. And I will listen to another family member. So, okay, guys, this is my sister, and I'm trying to, my sister doesn't do wholesaling. So since Laura's putting her name out there, I can't argue if she says that you're the best. So call me, sis. We need to catch up. So, guys, I love like doing wholesaling. Lets you like do amazing stuff with your family. It's a lot of fun. So with your kids, your wife. Although my wife thinks I'm crazy for some of the stuff I do. So Nan says, when you're talking to sellers, do you bring up their dirty laundry? I'd rather them bring it up. Do you bring up the fact that they have credit card liens, child support liens, touchy subjects like that? Or do you? So it just depends on the situation. Dirty laundry is more about the house. And when you go out and look at the house, you can look at it. But you're talking about all this other stuff. If they just want to sell and you guys agree on the price, let the title company do the dirty work on the liens. You didn't put the liens on there, and they know they have to pay the liens off. Unless they say, listen, I need to net $50,000, and you know they got a $100,000 credit card lien on it, then you already know you're going to have challenges up front. But if they have a lot of equity in the house or they want it like clear and free, then you can go in there on the liens and stuff. I let the title company announce it to them. And then if you had to renegotiate the price, then you can do it. But once you have a contract, you shouldn't have to renegotiate it unless listen, if there's no equity in it and they did the deal with you because they wanted to get 50 grand out of it, then you're not going to have a deal. Like, you can't force that person to close. So they don't want to lose money. So, What's up, Maria? How you doing? So, Rick, thanks so much for everything. Question for virtual: do you hire your own contractors, or do you have buyers bring contractors? Also, do you need an inspection done? So, when you're doing it virtually, you're going to have to eventually send boots on the ground to go look at the property. So, boots on the ground is just somebody that goes around and takes pictures of the property, kind of smells it, makes sure it's like what you have in your database. And dude, guys, so many times the properties don't add up. We just had one today. Seemed like a good deal on paper, everything's there, and our person went out to look at it. Complete hoarder's house. It's $80,000 difference, and this happens all the time. That's why you have to look at these houses, or you might be flipping garbage. So get somebody out there to look at between $50 and $75, take pictures for you, do what they need to do. The main thing is they don't talk to the seller, especially if the seller lives there. But if it's a vacant house, they can go around, take pictures, and do on that. So buyers bringing contractors. I never did like the contract guys. I don't deal with contractors. I just don't, unless I'm doing a personal project. But in wholesaling, you shouldn't be hiring contractors. If you want a contractor to go and inspect a property because it's got like a foundation issue or something like that, that's a whole different story. But for the most part, your buyers should be dealing with the contractor stuff, not you, because you do not get into fix and flips. So good questions. Let's see here. So Olivia goes, how do you calculate the best wholesale price? So it's kind of funny you mentioned this. I just recorded the other video. I think it was earlier this week in the studio. Zach has it scheduled, guys. It's coming up, and I did the entire thing on this piece right here. So now that you bring it up, I'll give you the Cliff Note version. You got one or two choices when you do a wholesale deal, in my opinion. You can either assign it. You guys know how I feel about assignments. They're quick, they're fast, they're very low risk, and you can make quick money. I like that. If you have to pay your rent, you need to get your mortgage payment caught up. You need to put food on the table. Assignments is dynamite, but you're going to have to work and hustle. The other way is you can do a wholesale deal, which is going to require you to fund the deal. That's the downside. Now, you can use private money, hard money, whatever money you can get. But when you do a wholesale deal, you want to do less than $10,000 worth of work. Once you go over 10, it winds up being a fix and flip full on. And then the next part of it is the rehab cannot take more than 2 or 3 weeks. I prefer 2, but I'll give you an extra week because it's busy. Okay. If you can do that, you have the potential to do a wholesale. And the goal is to get the property bought and sold within 90 days, not 91. 90 is the max. It goes 91 days. You got to fire sale it. Make sure you got the right buyer for it. So if I was going to do a $20,000 assignment fee, for me to close on that property and do that, I've got to make at least $40,000. I want to double that fee. And it's really that simple as far as how you do it. Assignments, guys, shoot for 10 grand or more. You work too hard to make 3 or 5 grand. If it's your first deal and you got to make it work, make it work. But for the most part, I don't look for anything below 10 because, what's your time worth? So thank you, Olivia. I appreciate you. So I know she'll give me a thumbs up, right? So I hope you're having a fantastic day. Fran says, thank you guys very much. So Ferris says, hey, Rick, I heard you got a course on probates. Actually, I had probably the most popular course on probates. It was called PPS. So full disclosure, guys, I told you in 2014, I just got out of the whole coaching education business because I just felt it was going so south so fast. And here we are today talking about legislation in multiple states. It's not because the wholesalers have screwed up. In my opinion, there's so many people out there teaching it so many different ways with no consequences, no risk, flip this, flip that, put everything under contract. We are in a bit of a turmoil. So I sold a product like brutally cheap. It was called PPS. What was it called? Priority Probate System. And I had a bunch of gurus. Everybody wanted to take it. I just dove in and I spent 2 years studying everything about probates because I was making so much money doing them. So Full disclosure, I don't sell the course anymore because I'm done like selling products, but I sold the rights to it back then because they were paying me on it. So if you can find it out there, you can. I don't get the money from it, guys. I don't own the rights. I sold it, but I had to leave it up. It is my video, my face. I know the person that owns it. I made an agreement and I have to live up to it. So it's like a couple $100 out there. I do not get the money. I do not service it. So don't come on here. I got a question about logging in. All they are is a series of videos. It's very good. I teach a lot of it in freewholesaling.com, but there's certain stuff I couldn't put in there because I sold the rights to it. So there's a lot of confusion on it. I don't know why, but guys, things change over lifetime. I'm switching to everything free versus anything paid. So if you pay for the course, don't come on here and say so-and-so. It's a legit course, but it's all recorded. There's nothing live. It's relatively cheap. So if you can find it, great. If not, don't come on here and like ask me a million questions about it because there's things I just can't. I'm not allowed to talk about in it. The course was that good. Trust me, it was very, very good. So I think I signed a 10-year non-disclosure on it. So there's nothing I can do. So I'm not promoting against it. It's actually really good. I just don't get any money from it. So I'm okay with it. And I've heard a lot of people buying it, then great. It's the person that owns it is a very reputable person, so I'm fine with it. So here's a good one. Jason said, Rick, what's the best way to create a schedule and stick to it? I got to tell you, man, you guys are you're overlooking some of the basics. Just use Google, your Google Calendar. You can set it. You can do repetition. You can use it on your computer. I find it wonderfully. There are some more advanced schedule stuff that I use for our businesses. But for the most part, if I'm just starting out, I'm just going to use Google Calendar and you put everything in there. Jot out your time. Okay. It works really, 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 really well. Because if you're not used to a schedule, when you get on a schedule, it sucks for the first few weeks. And after a while, you can't live without it. So, here's a good one. Lady Kamash, do you have lawyers talk or just let it go? So I assume you're talking in regards to your deal. I would do as much talking as you can. Lady Sebastian, let me know if you did the deal or not, Lo, or is the deal still pending? There's a huge difference on this. Joe says, Rick, are probates and vacants the best for virtual wholesaling? They're all really good. They're all really good. But like high equity, absentee owners, all that stuff works. Code violations. It works. So Olivia, you will love that video when it comes out, and I'll let you know when it comes out. So Maria, yes, boots can be on they can be anywhere. Just make sure they're gonna look, guys, before you pay someone, make sure they take the pictures and do everything before you send them the money. Okay, it's really, really important. A lot of people sit back there and do nothing. So the deal is live. So Lady Compassion, you're just going to have a heart-to-heart conversation with them, and you've probably spent some time with this lady, and you need to decide. You can't medically assess if she has dementia or not, but if she's already signed a contract, then I would just talk with the family and try to involve them before you get to a lawyer. Lawyers just complicate stuff, and they make your life difficult. Sorry, it's just true. I use lawyers. I just I don't hide behind a lawyer. So I rather try to work it out. And then if you can't work it out, then you can make a decision for you. I'm going to be honest with you, like you're not going to like what I'm about to tell you. Sometimes you just have to walk away from certain deals. So if she has the true intention of selling the house, then I would stay in the fight. If she wants to stay in the house, you have no leg to stand on, move on with your life. And don't get into lawyers until you have to, because the only people who win when you bring in lawyers is lawyers get paid. No matter if they win or lose, they get paid. So, let's see. Russian Eskimo, for boots on the ground, can we use the agent's lockbox and give access to cash buyers? Probably a really bad idea. Get your own lockboxes and have one of your own boots on the ground put it on there for you, because you have to have permission to use anything of an agent's. You do not want to take their stuff and do it with that. So that's just my recommendation on it. So guys, what else you got? Man, I am flying through questions today. I am here. I am caught up. And if I don't get another question here, I'm going to wrap this puppy up. So I appreciate you guys. Remember, a market crash or market correction is normal. A market crash is going to be something that exceeds like 15% of a correction. That can go down a slippery slope. But I think we're going to be good through the summer. And I think after the summer, you're slowly going to see inventory creep up. You're going to see housing getting less affordable. And this is going to create a trend over the next 12 to 18 months. 2023, you better buckle up because it's going to get really, really interesting because something has to give, guys. And you want that to happen because whenever there's change in real estate, there's opportunity for wholesalers. Whenever you have any type of change in real estate, the opportunity for wholesalers, anybody in real estate investing for that, folks, there's a massive opportunity. So that's where creative financing rules. Okay. I'm not against creative financing, guys. I absolutely love it. I just think about it. I don't want to pay 10% above market rate to do this for a property. I mean, it's got to be massive cash flow. So creative financing is always about the right motivation of the seller and you having the skill set to take it down. Okay. If you have to talk somebody into creative financing, you're going to get in big, big trouble. Ask me how I know. I did it 3 or 4 times myself. I did it just to do a deal and I regretted it in the long run. And it cost me a lot of money. So I love creative financing. If you're doing it today, make sure you are in positive cash flow. Anybody who tells you to put down 20 grand and you're only going to get 10, you just went $10,000 in the hole. You cannot start off doing that. It's risky. You don't know what you're doing. If you had 3 or 4 houses like that, you're going to run out of cash really quick. Honestly, if you're going to do it that way, you might as well just go get a bank loan and put up your own cash and do it traditionally. That's my opinion. So that's just my opinion. Let's see here. When so Russia says a certain person says sub 2 is best to do first. You know, everybody's entitled to opinion. Like that's just not my type of deal. Like if the person's motivated and the deal's right, a subject 2 is perfect. Okay. But learning, if you want to concentrate and learn subject 2 before you do wholesaling, most of the time you're doing it because you're trying to fill your holes in your game in wholesaling. It's like trying to bail water out of a boat that's got this massive hole and it's like a sinking ship. It's not going to fix your wholesaling game. A lot of people get in creative financing because they think it just sounds like it's going to be easier. That's a shortcut, guys. You still have to create opportunities where you can create equity, positive cash flow. Positive cash flow, the definition of positive cash flow means you are earning a positive cash flow. So if you give the seller 10 and you only collect 5, you are negative $5,000 cash flow. That's not like I'm telling you that's how you have to do creative financing, especially if you're brand new because you don't understand the game. How do you understand the game? Go to freewholesaling.com, learn how to be a good wholesaler. The best creative finance guys I've ever met, they all started out wholesaling. Okay. But there's a trend. People selling creative financing courses are trying to basically run ads saying wholesaling's dead. I've seen wholesaling's dead for 20 years, guys. It's not dead. It's ridiculous. The only time someone says wholesaling is dead is they have a creative financing course they want to sell you, and they tell why fight with wholesalers when you can just pay above market rate. Does it even make sense to you? Do you want to pay above market rate? I don't. Eventually, you have to sell that asset, and if you overpaid for it and you got to sell it quickly, you're going to lose money. Okay, and remember, you have to pay on that obligation. It's serious stuff. So, Ed says, when sending the contract to the title company, is it better to wait to start escrow? I heard for title fee purposes. So most of your contracts most realtors contracts, just so you know, A lot of them have a 3 to 5 day lag period on depositing the escrow, so people can go, I guess, drop off a check at the title company. I don't think it really matters. If you have a really, 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 really good deal, go run and put the deposit down. It will solidify your deal. The title company calls your motivated seller, make sure, hey, I just want to make sure you sign this contract. You're legit. They say yes. Once they say yes to you and the title company, you have a great shot at that deal. Okay. So I'm not sure what you mean about the title fees. You shouldn't have fees for escrow. That should be free. Benitez says he's got a deal in Florida, Sefner. I have no idea where that is. If you guys want to work with him, hook him up. I give Benitez credit for posting in the comments. Guys, you should use the comments to network and work with people. He says he needs to move the deal. So hopefully he's got a good deal, and I would love to hear more about it. So, okay, hold on. Scorpion, I've answered a lot of your questions. So these aren't time marked. So it's very hard. I try to answer every question, but like when I see like they get repetitive, I try to I don't know. I don't have a timestamp on these. Sorry about it, Scorpion. So guys, I think that's it. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Guys, you want the market to move. You want it to go up or down. A change means people are going to make decisions to sell their house, buy their house, rent their house, do whatever they need to do. Guys, it's coming. When it's coming, that's what we don't know. So I think the market's going to be great till summer. And I think by fall, the data is going to start really, really hitting the real estate market. And it'll start some of the basic trends. But I think the real pain's got to be coming in 2023. But keep in mind, I don't have a crystal ball. There's only one man upstairs that knows what's going to happen in life. And I kind of leave it up to him. So in wholesaling, when markets go up and down, you do not get hurt. That's the beauty of our business, and you guys need to understand it. So don't let anybody invoke fear on you in regards to, there's a market crash. What are you going to do with wholesaling? It is an opportunity for you, and you'll do a heck of a lot more creative financing deals. So guys, I appreciate your time. This is Friday. If you guys need to interact with me and Zach on Wholesaling Houses for Real, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Flip with Rick. You'll be notified every time we go live. And we go live 4 times a week. My God, who else goes live 4 times a week? You know why? Because it's the best way to interact with you guys. Go to freewholesaling.com, get in the business, change your life, do wholesaling. I appreciate your time, and I will see you next week, guys. Have a blessed weekend, and go out there and get